Hey everybody! Well, I didn't get around to making my cranberry rum sauce yesterday, so I'm doing it today. And I'm hoping that this is good, and I'm having a lot of people over for Thanksgiving, so I'm going to serve it, and I hope it's good. This recipe is coming out of the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving, and it's on page 180. It's the cranberry rum sauce. So basically, you start out making a syrup and all your seasonings I'm going to put in a spice bag, and they will be in the simple syrup while that's cooking up. Then you add your cranberries, apples, and rum. So it sounds good. So we're going to start out. I am going to put in 1.5 cups of water and 2 cups of sugar. And this is organic natural sugar, pure cane, so I don't like to use the granulated sugar because it's not real sugar. So I'm going to get that dissolved. I'm going to put all my spices in my little muslin spice bag and tie it up. It calls for 3 cinnamon sticks that are 4 inches long, broken in half. Well, mine aren't 4 inches. I got these little guys, but these are organic also. So I'm going to put in 6 because they're kind of in between size. So I put those in my little bag. I have whole allspice, and it calls for 8, but some of these are really tiny, so I think I got more than that. Yeah, so I've got a couple more than that just because they were some real little ones. And then it calls for 6 whole cloves. So those are going in this little bag. So I've got all my spices in here, and I'm going to close up the drawstring as tight as I can and tie it up. Okay, so get that closed up, and I'm going to get this on the stove and get the sugar dissolved. And once I get that dissolved, then I'll drop the spice bag in, and I'm going to bring it to a boil on high heat. So I'm going to get started with that, and then I'll bring you along for the next step. Alright, the sugar is not 100% dissolved, but it's close enough. That recipe actually says to put the spice bag in at the start, but it just didn't seem like it would work too well. So now that it's mostly dissolved, I'm going to add that spice bag in, and we're going to bring this to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, we can stop stirring constantly and just go to occasionally. And then we're going to boil it for 5 minutes. So I'm going to let this come to a boil, and then I'll turn it down, and while it's actually almost at the boil. While it's boiling for 5 minutes, I'm going to peel and chop up 2 apples and have that ready for when I add the cranberry. So I'm going to get this done, and I'll bring you along for the next step. Okay, I actually had to turn this down because I wasn't quite done with the apples. So now I'm going to add the cranberries and the apples. And this is 8 cups of cranberries and 2 apples that I peeled and cored and chopped. So now I'm going to stir that all up. And again, this is my first time making this, so I'm reading as I go. I'm going to return this to a boil, and I'm going to wait until the cranberries all pop open. So I'm just going to stand here and do that, and I will bring you along as soon as it's close. All right, this is looking, and oh my gosh, it smells amazing. So far we have the simple syrup, the sugar and water, the spice bag with the cinnamon sticks, the whole cloves and whole allspice berries, apples, and cranberries. And most of the cranberries are popped. So now, let's set that spoon aside for a minute. And I'm going to take a potato masher and just smash this up. And I think mostly what I'm looking to do is make sure all the cranberries are popped open, and I cut the apple pretty small, so I'm not too worried about that, but I'm going to turn this heat down a little. And we still have the spice bag in there, so I'm kind of running into it occasionally, but that's okay. We want to leave that in. I can't wait to try this. I think this is going to be another one of those winners. All right, I think I've got it pretty well smashed up. Put that over to the side. And now I'm going to add the rum. And this is 3/4 cup of rum. So seems like a lot, but that's what the recipe says. So I'm going to carefully add that. And now I'm going to return it to a boil. Then I'm going to turn it off, take out that spice bag, and then we're going to jar this up. And I'm going to have to taste it before I do that. It just smells too good. Missed one. Look at that. And the smell, ooh, it smells wonderful. Just look at that. This is not your grandma's cranberry sauce, I'm telling you. I think this is just a little bit different. Well, I don't know, it could have been my grandma's. You never knew with her. She surprised us a lot. All right, it came back to a boil, and I took out the spice bag with the cinnamon sticks and the whole allspice and cloves. So all I have left in here is the sauce with the apples and cranberries. So we're ready to put this in jars, and I'm going to do this in half pints, and we're going to leave 1/4 inch headspace in these. So let's grab out some jars. Move that out of my way. Oh, those are hot. Again, hot sauce, hot jars, hot water. You always try and be consistent like that. That one may have just a little too much. Okay, paper towel. Okay, so we're going to debubble. Make sure you can see this. And this little jar is hot. Some hot water and clean the rim. And I didn't get my magnet. I'm just disorganized today. And one lid. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. Finger tight. And this hot little jar is going in the canner. Pretty. Just a touch more. Okay, and debubble. Now I think I'm going to add just a tiny bit. Now we're going to clean the rim. Grab a lid. Finger tight. And in the canner. Well, I'm going to go ahead and finish filling these little jars, and I'll bring you along when I finish this step. Okay, my timer just went off. It's been 25 minutes. It would be 15 minutes and then 10 minutes for my altitude. So a total of 25 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat off, and I'm going to remove the lid. And I've got a little bit of color in there, so I'm not sure. Not very much. But I got 6 half pints, and I got 1 3/4 pint out of that recipe. So I'm going to let these sit a good 5 minutes or 5 or 6 minutes with the lid off, and then I'll take them out of the canner. Alright, so my cranberry rum sauce has processed for 25 minutes. It sat for about 6 minutes in the water in the canner. So now we're going to pull it out. It looks beautiful. There was some seepage in the canner, and I'm not sure from what. So we'll see. Hopefully everything will seal. But the sauce looks just beautiful. I don't want to tip the jar, but the color it's a gorgeous cranberry. And I don't see any obvious signs, so I'm hoping it was just a little bit of something that came out. But I think this is going to be just wonderful with Thanksgiving dinner. And it would probably be very good on sandwiches. So I'm really excited about this, and we tasted it, the little bit that was left, because this pretty much filled these jars. I maybe had 2 spoonfuls left. Okay, there they are. And that jar in the center might be the one that seeped. We'll have to wait and see after they sit for 24 hours. But they are just beautiful, and we tasted the sauce and it was wonderful. So I'll bring you back tomorrow after these sit, and we'll clean them up and I'll show you what they look like. Well, I had a little bit of evacuation out of a couple of the jars, not sure why, but they all sealed, and I'm looking forward to sharing them with family and friends. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon.